these conferences become a place for catching up with opportunities that I might be missing.
It's moving from what was theory a couple of years ago, has proved itself practically now.
Yeah, I think the pace of change is not something that anyone forecasted accurately so far at all. I think what could be really nice is to see a range of these Blackwell-based cards joining the family.
I always come back from GTC San Jose with loads of ideas and excited about, inspired about what's going to roll out over the rest of the year. So yeah.
You basically meet the best developers of this planet in one place.
Hello and welcome to our Inside GTC podcast, where we're going to be discussing everything to do with NVIDIA's global AI conference, GTC. And as you can see, I've got two wonderful guests in the studio here with me today, Rafi and Vova. We're going to start with Rafi. You are co-founder of Falcon and Storm, also contribute to our enterprise team here, and I believe you're an ambassador of NVIDIA Omniverse.
Yeah, that's right.
And Vova, you are from Pentatonic. So tell us a little bit, top line, of what Pentatonic do.
Well, in a nutshell, what Pentatonic does is it brings back the products out there in circulation after the moment the consumer buys them back to the brands and helps them to recapture the value behind them through agentic commerce.
Excellent. Super interesting concept. I had a look at your website and it's brilliant what you guys are doing. Okay, and you are both veterans. You've been to many GTCs. So for people perhaps that haven't been, why is it so special? I mean, it's grown massively over the years that it's been around, since 2009, completely different audience to what we first saw there. How would you describe GTC to a friend?
It's kind of it's like a gathering of developers primarily, but more and more, I would say, it's business leaders and even CFOs trying to get their head around what this AI revolution means for their business. So it is still very much a developers conference, but if I look at how the sessions have evolved over the years that I've been attending GTC, it speaks to me as a creator, because I'm a hands-on user of Omniverse and I use NVIDIA's tech stack for production and entertainment. I'm not so much of a developer, but I get loads of value out of it because I work with companies to help them connect deeper with people through storytelling, driving creative excellence, and making smarter choices in tech. So even though I'm not a developer, all those points are really relevant to GTC because you're the first to find out about tech advancements. And if you're striving for creative excellence now, technology is part of that journey, and reaching those standards, you get to see what's on the front line at GTC with all of those.
Up close as well. I mean, there's so much to see and do, and it really is a spectacle. What's your experience of being at GTC been like then?
Yeah, I think that was, by the way, so well said. For me personally, I think it is a space where you always have an opportunity to kick off the whole experience with some workshops, sessions where you could learn the latest techniques, state-of-the-art ideas, translate it directly into the application, that you could sign up ahead of the actual conference. But then more importantly, an abundance of sessions that you could visit and dive deeper into any subject, any expertise, and engage with people directly. I think this year there will be probably about 640 different sessions that people will be able to connect live to the transmissions. To most of them, some sessions, of course, probably will be limited in person. You definitely want to sign up for them as soon as you can to get your entry permit and not wait in a queue. But yeah, more importantly, that there will be a lot of future builders. I'd call them the startups of the industry, and I'm highly anticipating to see what startups are bringing this year to the space. I think based on what I've looked up, there will be about 240 different startups speaking about and showing ideas and solutions for physical AI, robotics, and potentially a future of agentic AI.
Yeah, and when you're part of this community and you go back to it every year, it's fantastic to see the same familiar faces, but also, as you say, there are new startups doing some new and exciting things and making those connections and seeing how future collaborations can come out of this. it's really the hub for that kind of stuff. And the NVIDIA team are so accessible, particularly at GTC. Everyone's there, and you can usually grab, a little bit of time for a coffee or something with one of them. That someone who leads a particular initiative that relates to a problem that you're trying to solve or something in your business that you're trying to implement. Everything from their XR team to the Omniverse teams to the numerous sort of Gen AI teams, both in the leadership side of things, but also the people who code this stuff, who are building these things, the developers. They're all there.
Yeah, so absolutely. And it's not just them, it's also everyone else from like major players on the market who will have large booths in their exhibition centers, as well as startups which will have smaller footprints but available in high quantities in the same exhibit spaces. And yeah, you can talk to everyone. You can speak to your managers behind Inception programs. They could basically hold your hand and take you around the space and make introductions to superstars across NVIDIA or superstars across other companies that are directly developing specific solutions or maybe solving a problem that you're trying to unlock for past months. Literally happened to me. So yeah, it's absolutely incredible how that community of, I think, 30,000 people in total that attend in person, how that community basically connects to each other and then discusses what will be the next frontier and how could we overcome all the challenges together.
It's a great point that you made, because you've said there's 30,000 people. So we're thinking this is a big deal, but still they managed to retain that sort of community feel, like you say. I've been before, not for a long while actually, but that was one of the things that stood out to me, is how easy it was to access people, to speak, to ask the questions to the people that can give you an answer there and then. So it's a fantastic place to be. I think we've established why GTC is such a big deal and one of the big global sort of tech dates in the calendar. Let's look at Jensen Huang's keynote though, because of course, understandably, all eyes are going to be on the man himself and his infamous leather jacket and what he might be revealing in his keynote. So, based on what's gone before and what you guys know, obviously you are in different industries, but you're sort of on the periphery of what's happening and keeping up to date with all of the latest news. What do you anticipate that keynote, or what are you hoping, you can answer it either way, he might announce this year? Rafi, let's start with you. What are you thinking, hoping for?
So if we go by past GTCs, there's usually a big hardware reveal. And then there's a deep dive into new releases on the software stack side of things. Usually very impactful stuff like a new model that NVIDIA developed for a specific use case, for example, automotive stuff. And there's usually like the next gen hardware that's going to go into data centers, or a new GPU architecture that's going to define AI workflows for the year ahead. I feel like maybe, considering where we are in AI's journey in the enterprise space, the time is probably ripe for a chip that is more specialized to certain AI tasks. Remember last year, the big hardware reveal was really about supercharging the training side of things in the AI workflow. And now, because of the linear journey of you've got to train your models, and then you've got to do the inferencing side of things. You can't infer from if you haven't trained something first. So it feels like maybe now's the time to have a specialized product from NVIDIA that focuses on the inferencing step in the workflow. I don't know, would you think about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely resonating with you there. I mean, the transition from grasshoppers to Blackwells unlocked inefficiencies of like 40x, which was clearly demonstrated and communicated over past years. That came with improvements of energy consumption, inferencing speeds, and so on. And I think that allowed us, as you said, to train models and really start tapping into a space of agentic AI. So now all these models can be distilled to smaller ones and allow AI agents to action, reason on our behalf and conduct certain things. So I think, realistically speaking, it's all about figuring out how do you scale up these ecosystems. And I think the obvious ask here is well, if we are adopting these workflows in our day-to-day activities, how do we get to that speed of inferencing where, I don't know, fintech companies could be operating agentic payment rails at speeds that they usually operate at, and so on. So, yeah, I think that pushes into this perhaps speculation on reveal of solutions or chips that will really unlock high-scale inferencing speeds, and maybe that could be something going in line with, I don't know, semiconductors chip size reductions to 1.6 nanometers or 1.4 nanometers. We've been teased, I think, about it already last year, but perhaps it will be the time where the actual release will be announced with some numbers attached to it. That probably will really help us to step into next era of AI, specifically, I would say agentic AI and physical AI, where the reasoning will be possible, not just somewhere in the data centers, but also specifically on the edge and in robotics layers. So robotics will be able to act physically on our behalf and then potentially transact things on our behalf as well.
You know, at the companies I work with, every year when I come back from GTC and I talk to the business leaders of these companies about all the exciting stuff and I kind of demystify some of the stuff for them, the CFOs and the CEOs will every year ask me the same question, which is, well, we just got the NVIDIA cards, last year. Yeah. Why is this different? Is it just faster or compute and all that? And if this product that Jensen teased is like a product that the world has never seen before, he teased this
he did say that, yeah,
a short while ago. If it is the kind of thing that we're anticipating, then it's much easier to explain to business leaders that this is a specialized chip. It is now supercharging a particular part in the workflow, a particular step, and then the benefits, as you just described, for physical AI are much clearer. It's not just faster computing; it's a specific area of compute, right? A specific discipline within the chain.
I think regardless of what is revealed, and I do think that you're probably at least batting in the right area there, it's going to be a spectacle. It really is like no other keynote, isn't it? Jensen on that stage, he's like a rock star in his own world. So all eyes will be on that one, excited. So we've jumped a little bit into the future. I want to go back to last year though. You were both there. Let's talk about some of the key announcements from last year and maybe see how, if at all, they've affected you in your line of work or how maybe you've seen it work across different industries. So we had DGX Spark, we had Blackwell GPUs, anything else that stood out for you or anything that you want to talk about specifically announced last year that you've actually seen making real world difference?
Well, DGX Spark is the one that immediately comes to mind because of the form factor, right? It's kind of the size of like a paperback, and
gold-plated paperback.
Gold-plated paperback.
Very expensive one. Yeah.
Slightly shimmery. And but the compute power in that, right? It's pretty phenomenal. And I felt at the time, and I still feel like this, it feels like a new product category, because even though it is a computer, it is tailor-made for AI workflows for developers. And even though I'm not a developer, I don't code or anything like that, I have used it to run things like Comfy UI, to load several models like Flux, for example, and use it in pre-production workflows. And it absolutely made the AI ecosystem much more accessible to me. There were fewer friction points because prior to this machine, it was about going to Hugging Face and GitHub and all of that, downloading the models and manually configuring it on Windows, which is what I was using, because Linux is still a challenge for me. But for what this product does, it comes with a bunch of software that is as close to plug and play as we've had so far. So you can browse its library, you can pick the model you want, and it'll just install all the bits. So there's much less sort of cognitive overload on my part, and And there's a lot less of configuring on my part. It kind of, you download the stuff and it just goes up and running really quickly, which means I can focus on the stuff that matters to me, which is investigating how AI can add value to the content production and entertainment pipeline. So yeah, I'd say DGX Spark was impactful for me.
Yeah, absolutely incredible products. What about for yourself, Over?
Yeah, same for us. In fact, I have DGX Spark on my work desk. Use it nonstop. It's a great form factor and great value for money that allows you to prototype on this unified memory. 128 gigabytes basically allows you to run majority of the models, and if you feel like you're out of memory, you just stack them up, connect through NVLink, and basically you're ready to run anything. But yeah, it became a great way of building things, prototyping them, and then getting a confidence for us as organization that we're ready to roll it out in a cloud with cloud services, or maybe on managed data centers and so on. And we could know that the models act reliably and do exactly what we expect them to do. So yeah, that was definitely a great product to bring to the market. And at the same time, it's built on the latest architecture, Blackwell architecture. So yeah, absolutely loving it.
So both fans of DGX Spark, also announced RTX Pro last year. So have either of you had a chance to use the cards? Have you seen how it's changing either your industries or others? Talk to me a little bit about that.
For us, it's a game changer, honestly speaking. I label it as a hardest working horse for us.
Okay,
And
like that.
yeah, we use it for everything. The ability to run high fidelity simulations became really existential for what we're doing. I mentioned earlier, we generate synthetic data sets using Omniverse, and this series became a core component of that because it allows us to not compromise on quality of the simulations and renderings, as well as generate enough data and test it and train models right away on the same infrastructure and same ecosystem. I think what could be really nice is to see a range of these Blackwell-based cards joining the family, because that could sometimes mean a better trade-off towards specific quality, maybe a simulation, and do a bit more on simulation side of things rather than on, for example, models trainings and inferencing, and just give an ability to businesses that, to the likes of maybe ours or other businesses, to choose how the horse has to continue working nonstop, really. Yeah.
So you're hoping for more horse announcements, hopefully.
Well, someone got to work, and that's a big bet on AI, right?
I like that.
I'd love to see that really fulfilling that manifestation.
I like that. I wasn't expecting you to use that term there, but RTX Pro cards then, have you used them personally? How have you seen them change in your industry, different industries?
Yes. So like last year, when it was announced, I was impressed, wowed by all of it and the reveal, but I was like, yeah, that's overkill for my sector and the kind of work that I do. So I'd been using an A6000 card, which is several generations. Was it 2 generations prior, the A6000 card? And it's got 48 gigs of memory. It's very fast. And for the production use cases I have with Omniverse, it's absolutely fine. It ain't broke, nothing to fix. Yeah. Then a job comes along where I got involved with creating a digital twin of a very large retail environment, like a shopping mall type thing, and it was maxing out the capabilities of my A6000 card. And then I spoke to my friends at Scan. I said, look, this is happening. What do I need to do? Do I need more system memory? Do I need a faster CPU? What is it? Because again, I'm not deeply technical. I just know this is maxing out. And they said, well, why don't you try a Blackwell card? I said, well, I don't want to put a card in and downtime on my computer and all that sort of stuff. So they spun up a cloud version of the A6000 on the workstation. Do you guys use the cloud? Or
totally cloud-based.
Totally cloud-based.
Also with Scan.
So that was another thing I was skeptical of, because I was like, well, remote, what's the latency and all of that stuff? Totally usable. And in fact, made us so much faster with this job because we weren't having to kind of balance memory and turn off objects in Omniverse. We could have everything on, every bit of detail of this 3-story massive construction, and it didn't even blink, this card. So right then and there was like a real world value, right? Because I could have the full digital twin fully realized, and there was still more memory left on the card, and it was running at 120 frames per second, walking through this digital twin. So it takes a use case like that for you to realize, oh, I see the real world benefit. It's great looking at charts and it's great looking at like benchmarks and stuff. And you go, okay, yeah, the science says it's X times more powerful. But when you put it to a project like this, you realize, oh yeah, this you couldn't really do it any other way. So that's a value right there. So you're massively impactful.
Definitely fascinating insight, because as you say, I see all the stats we talk about, that we do the videos. I don't use them personally, certainly not on projects of that size. And it's not until, like you say, you test it and you think, go on, I'll give it a bash, and there you go. It was the magic ingredient all along. Made your previous card look like a pony in comparison to the wild horse that you unleashed.
Keeping with the horse analogy.
Yeah. I like it. You've started a trend.
Thank you.
Anything else from last year then that you've seen change industries? Any of the announcements from GTC 2025 making real differences to your everyday or in other industries that you've seen when you talk to other people?
So this isn't so much a technical thing, but it's the awareness, right? The businesses being much more aware of what AI is and the technologies that NVIDIA is bringing. A lot of people don't talk about this. People talk about like how exciting this hardware is or this new model is and like this fine tuning and all of that stuff. But the general level of awareness in business in multiple sectors of what AI is and what it can do for businesses, and even the segments within the overall AI thing. We use AI as a general term, but this,
of course, yeah,
it's so nuanced. That general awareness has gone up, and I've got to say the exposure that GTC brings to startups and to the space in general is, that it's immeasurable how much that makes a difference. That moves the needle.
So awareness is key, but interestingly then, is that bringing new audiences through, new sectors, new industries? Are we seeing a change from maybe what we saw even 5, 6, 10 years ago, as long as the conference has been going? What's your experience been?
Well, my experience started with noticing the fact that tickets got basically sold out in no time this year.
You can't get them, can you?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's relevant to some of the key announcements last year, specifically focused on physical AI. Yeah. And I think that was a key moment for really bringing up to speed not just the industries that instantly could see the benefits of using AI ecosystems, but industries that operate in a very physical, chaotic world around us, making products that we're using day to day, from consumer products to something larger like cars or airplanes and so on. And basically NVIDIA managed to bridge these gaps and actually establish new bridges for AI intelligence to these industries by utilizing Omniverse and creating a range of models to the likes of Cosmos reasoning and so on, GRUTs and so on, that allowed to bring physical awareness into operations and day-to-day processes of other organizations. And that probably explains the level of awareness of everyone else from other industries, and more importantly, their interest expressed in the speed of not just buying tickets, but also booking out the GPUs that now become an issue to book through cloud services. Hopefully that kind of gives you my perspective on how awareness has shifted in past 2 years, and probably how much more it is going to shift. I think by probably fair assumptions, at the moment the extensions of the market size with AI application that NVIDIA helps us to pioneer extends to about a $50 trillion market. I struggle to probably even list all industries that contribute to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changed though, hasn't it? As we said, the awareness is on the up. We're seeing a whole new, industries coming through the doors. Talk to us about the sorts of industries then that you've become aware of that maybe weren't there a couple of years ago.
Yeah, certainly media and entertainment are waking up to it. And I would say the robotic side of things, that's really opening up because it's moving from what was theory a couple of years ago, has proved itself practically now. So that naturally translates to products and new ways of working. A lot of this stuff used to be tech demos, right? That would excite people, but then sort of a so what moment for a lot of sectors, a lot of companies in various sectors go, okay, cool tech demo, what is that?
But
so
yeah,
what?
What for me?
What for me? But now that stuff is becoming, the practical applications are now becoming really apparent. So quite naturally, the numbers are growing, right? The attendees, the awareness has grown, and sectors like media entertainment that previously would sort of have a passing glance at it now really paying attention to this whole the whole stack. The growth in robotics is another indicator.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the pace of change is not something that anyone forecasted accurately so far at all. Like even with forecast of Jensen that we're gonna need X100 level of inferencing for fueling up requirements of agentic AI probably was underestimated. Like just look at what happened to the industries once someone came up with the concept of OpenClaw. The technological gap from what it was yesterday to bring agentic AI into anyone's solutions suddenly became instantly solved, and now people are more actively looking into applying it, not necessarily based on OpenClaw solutions, but people can see how the gap suddenly disappears and they want to have an access to it much faster.
Yeah.
And yeah, like with that in mind, I think for me as a developer, these conferences, not just the one in San Jose, but actually every other GTC conference throughout the year, become a place for catching up with opportunities that I might be missing.
Yep.
And I almost feel scared to miss something because of the pace of how quickly things change. And you basically meet the best developers of this planet in one place, especially in San Jose, as no other GTC conference. And you potentially have a great opportunity to find out something that you may have been overlooking, not because you wanted to, but because you've been focused on everything else. And I think that really helps.
And that FOMO, I would
Great
say,
point.
is what's driving the tipping point in the enterprise space.
Yeah, absolutely. That fear of missing out, like you say, thinking, because it is natural, isn't it? You're in the day-to-day, you're solving real-world problems, you're working on your business challenges, and there's so much going on at such a fast rate, it's impossible to keep up with everything. So again, another great reason to be there, to sort of eyes wide open, to have those conversations, to hear things going on in the background, to see the demonstrations is just an incredible place to be.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear what else could there be for us, the startups, in terms of opportunities to tap in.
Well, startups and developers is something that they've already name-checked
Absolutely.
as being a focus for this year.
So tell me a bit more about the Inception Programme then. We know it's for startups. How did you get involved and what benefits have you had? How's it helped you along in your progress so far as a company, Pentatonic?
Yeah, it's actually super easy to involve yourself into it. They don't need any cap limits or requirements. No one takes any part of your equity. So as a company that considers to join it, I think it's a no-brainer decision.
Absolutely.
There are lots of benefits. Like I think the discounts of up to like 75% for some hardware stacks, and the number of GPUs you can buy at discount is significant. You get lots of credits. You get your account manager who looks after you and tries to understand your business and what are the immediate needs that you may need in a moment. There are lots of events being organized. Inception team here in the UK was especially active recently, and these events bring new opportunities for networking. They bring opportunities for finding partners, and actually that's how we found Scan as well. So yeah, it's definitely worth attending it because it really brings and extends opportunities for anyone's landscape. There are also some more interesting opportunities. I think every startup can apply for their pitch moment in startup corners at GTC, either it's GTC in San Jose or GTC in Paris or GTC in Taipei or GTC in Washington. Not sure what will be the list this year, but that's something we could see last year happening all across the globe as probably an attempt of like establishing new intelligent ecosystems everywhere possible where there's a good presence of talent and potential markets and opportunities for that. So yeah, something that's worth tapping in. And yeah, taking a full advantage of that, not being shy. And I think on that note, where we mentioned that the people around GTC are really friendly, that actually extends to every single team member of NVIDIA out of GTC frame as well. And yeah, I'm sure they will be very supportive and helping you out when you need them the most and when you don't need them as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to hear, though, from your experience of being in the programme as well, for people that might be interested to get signed up. As you said there as well, not least for the access to individuals, to partners, to be upfront, but also the visibility and exposure that it gives you as a company as well is completely invaluable. I know you've spoken at GTC as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So how was that experience for you then? Did anything come off the back of it? What was your kind of overall feeling about everything?
Yeah, well, it was stressful.
Speaking in public is for most people,
yes,
isn't it?
It was stressful because we've been one of 10 startup companies to have an opportunity to pitch at GTC Paris. And overall tone of GTC Paris last year was focused on startups as such, because it's an emerging field and a lot of companies are trying to get involved here in Europe or in the UK. And yeah, that was definitely a key topic. So being selected as one of many to present your ideas is always stressful, I think. But yeah, it went really great. The event was as exciting to come and join as GTC in San Jose. It was just 1 hour flight away, which definitely helped to get over the jet lags and so on, as you can imagine.
Let's take it back to San Jose then. I know we mentioned that there's literally hundreds of sessions, workshops, training, networking opportunities. You couldn't possibly be everywhere. So what has stood out to you then on the calendar? You've mentioned some of the things that you're interested in, but are there any particular sessions that you've definitely got marked with a heavy pen in your calendar? What are you thinking? What's caught your eye?
The one that tops my list every year is the Open USD sessions. Okay. I go to as many of those as possible because that's kind of the backbone of why I use NVIDIA's tech stack and what attracted me to their enterprise solutions. And in the production space, there's been a sea change really in how 3D or CG production happens. Historically, there have been some legacy formats, not to get too technical, I say on a very tech-centric podcast.
You can go fairly technical.
Fairly technical, but historically, different types of production systems, the way you create a digital twin or the way you create CAD drawings for manufacturing is very different to the way you make movies or visual effects or animation. It's also very different to the way you create architectural visualizations, even though they have common disciplines in that you are creating a three-dimensional space, you are adding textures and lighting and visualizing something to sell an idea or to solve a problem before you manufacture it. So historically, each of those pipelines have been very siloed. Yeah. But USD is this core technology that is a new piece of technology that is built to unify all of those, a common format. So every year NVIDIA announces how they've been, because it's an open format, how they've been putting it to use in all of these different sectors. And that has huge kind of practical benefits for me in the way I work and the companies I work with, because I work in different sectors. And embracing OpenUSD has really changed how not just efficient, but how kind of future-proof you can be, how kind of non-destructive you can be in the way you make things and create things. So that always tops my list. I don't know if you go to any of those.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of OpenUSD as well. We're in fact contributors to Alliance for OpenUSD as Pentatonic, and the thing that attracted us is versatility of the format, really, which then became basically a core of Omniverse platform.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's what it's built on. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Just having an ability of like taking any digital format created by human up till this moment, and then having an ability to convert it into like one versatile translatable language and combining it all in one place is fascinating in terms of what this could mean for technologies built on top of that. I think that the parts I'll be interested in, of course, will be the startup sessions. I'm definitely curious to see how other companies are thinking about applying the edge cases and state-of-the-art ideas, models, hardware, and how they're pitching their businesses back to the audience, and then also trying to see what is the presence of venture capitals in that space and how they're reverse pitching actually, which is also fun to see. There are definitely some cool other sessions that will be there in place. I'm personally excited to go and see how Hyundai is using basically live digital twins for their manufacturing industrial spaces. That I think that's pretty edge case right there, because we use a lot of digital twins as well. We maybe do not run live simulations of manufacturing spaces, but we definitely use them to create synthetic data sets where there's definitely a lack of data to train models and basically polish them up to bring them into production for various solutions and so on. So yeah, these are kind of the things I'll be looking out for mainly, I think.
You're going to be very busy,
on top
aren't
of
you?
Everything else, I guess.
You almost need a digital twin that you can send to some of the other sessions for you, don't you?
Yeah.
So again, if we think in fact, I actually want to get to know a little bit more about what you do, because you're going to be wearing a few different hats there, aren't you? You're obviously going with Scan. You'll be producing some content, which I'm really excited to see. Sadly, I won't be there with you, but I know you could be doing a great job. Tell me a little bit more about that then.
Yeah, so at GTC every year, I interview a whole bunch of people from NVIDIA and the startup space and various companies that use the stack. And the interviews definitely talk broadly about what their initiatives are and their reaction to the new announcements and how the advancements in the software and hardware stack impact their business. But invariably, when the cameras stop rolling, we continue talking about kind of what we are right now. We kind of geek out a little bit on the potential for this stuff. So invariably, those conversations veer towards what challenges those startups are having, or even with NVIDIA. Speaking to my contacts at NVIDIA, what challenges they see coming up and how this technology could fit into that, and we brainstorm a lot. So those are the things that kind of happen on the fly that I look forward to, because I always come back from GTC San Jose with loads of ideas and excited about, inspired about what's going to roll out over the rest of the year. So yeah.
You're going to be tired, aren't you, after that? A few days away absorbing all this information. And of course, we've got a Springboard event for Scan, which is all about networking. I know you'll both likely be there. The venue looks incredible. How important are the networking opportunities at GTC? We have talked about some of them, and obviously there's this really full calendar, all the announcements, but the networking, like you cannot buy that time with those people, and that, being able to relax and digest everything that you've taken in, because it is very information heavy and you can feel quite exhausted at the end of it, albeit excited. So those networking opportunities, specifically Springboard, what are you most looking forward to? So
the Springboard Social at GTC this year is really important, because that's a UK-specific networking event. So you have people coming from all over the world to GTC, obviously, but that social event that's happening on the Thursday.
That's right. in the evening.
Good double acts there.
Yeah.
Hosted by Scan.
Hosted by Scan.
Keep that time open.
It's really important though,
Yeah,
right? Because
I agree.
we're networking with everyone across the global industry, but then that gives us focus time to talk about how this, what this means for the UK community.
Yeah, I agree. Having an opportunity to make connections with people who at least live within the same time zone as you makes it a bit more tangible for other social opportunities, which sometimes developers especially are not best at. Definitely not my best suit. Keeping up the communications as you're trying to figure out how to use, I don't know, Nemotron 3 model that was just released last week, or trying to bring Cosmos Reason into space of digital twin analysis. So yeah, no, I'm absolutely excited about it, and I'm hoping to meet more developers that are trying to solve similar problems as we are trying to day to day, as well as potentially maybe find opportunity to get more business-oriented supporters for our business. That really matters a lot as well.
Yeah, because we have a shared context, right? Obviously, being in the same country is the most obvious one, but then what does that mean? It means that we're all looking at the same government benefits, right? The government supports, the tax credits, all of those sorts of things, and just navigating the UK landscape and the opportunities that are coming up. You're going to be speaking a lot of the same language, in that sense.
It's really important, isn't it? Like you say, just to have those important conversations. But as we've said, partnerships, collaborations, you just don't know where that might lead. And if nothing else, it's just being able to sort of empty head a little bit. What did you think about that? And gain different insights, which I think is really important.
And hopefully it will not go unnoticed. And who knows, maybe next year we have GTC London.
Yes, there we go.
That would be so nice.
We could host it.
Yeah.
I could introduce Jensen maybe.
Let's start putting
on
this
the
in
bucket
now.
list.
Yeah, let's start manifesting this now.
Manifesting, that's right.
Okay, well, thank you very much, both of you, for your time. I've really enjoyed the conversation. Have a great time. And if you happen to be at GTC in San Jose, make sure that you get yourself to the Springboard social, where you can catch up with the guys. We've dropped all of the details that you'll need in the description. And of course, keep your eye on our Scan AI YouTube channel and our socials, where we'll be bringing you news live from the show floor. And hopefully we'll get you back to do a post-event podcast as well. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy GTC if you're going.